Hello students, welcome in the series of lectures on multiple integral. This is Dr. Amir. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss that how one can find the limit of a multiple integral if a reason of integration is given. Means till now we have just discussed that how to find the value of an integral if limit of integral is given. Now today what we are going to discuss that if limit of integration is not given, but in place of limit of integration, a reason of integration is given. Then how one can find the limits from the reason of integration and how to evaluate an integral. This is what we are going to discuss in today's class. This is very important and very useful in not only in academics but also in many competitive examination. So now without delaying, let us start today's discussion. That is how to find limit of an integral from a given reason. So now I am taking the examples and on the basis of those we will discuss. The first one I am taking, suppose that we need to find the limit of integral, like an integral is given double integral. I am talking about the multiple integral. That is, in this lecture we will talk about the double integral, and in the next one we will talk about the triple integral. Suppose that we are having double integral over R f of xy into dx dy, where they are saying the reason R, where R is what? The reason of integration, and it is given bounded by, I'm taking firstly, bounded by the points 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1 comma 0. Means what is the question? They are asking find the limit of integration over R, where R is the reason bounded by the points 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Now just note one thing, students. It may be that the point are given for formulating the reason, or it may be the curves are given for formulating the reason. So if curve is given, we will directly draw the curve. If point is given, we will directly draw the point. And on the basis of those, we will try to calculate the limit of integration. Now let us draw these 3 points. So we are having 3 points, namely 0, 0, 1, 1 and 1, 0. So 0, 0, the point which lies on the origin, 1, 1, 1, 0. 1, 0 is the point which lies on x-axis, like somewhat over here. 1, 1 means the distance on x-axis is 1 and y-axis also 1. So if this point is 0, 1, so this point will be what? 1, 1. So I just draw the 3 points 0, 0, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Match these points. If I just join these points, what I get? I will get this much, a triangle region. Let this point is O, this point is A, this point is B. So R is the reason what? The region of the triangle OAB. This is the reason of integration for the given problem. Now we know one thing, that there's a one thing which is known as the order of integration. That is, in which order we should perform the integration. So in the same manner, we can write the limit of the integration in the two manners. Means like we can write firstly limit for x, then for y, or firstly for y and then for x. As we have already discussed that the limit of integration is followed in the reverse order like this. Means whatever the latest limit of integration is there, we have to start from that variable. Means suppose that if latest limit is given for x variable, so we have to do firstly integration for x, then for next variable, that is for y. If the latest limit is given for variable y, so firstly we will do integration for y, then we will move for integral for x. Now how to decide that which variable we need to do first, or how to decide that what limit we should put first? It depends upon the elementary reason which we take from the given reason. Now just listen one thing. In the reason, we have to take the elementary portion of this reason. Either the parallel to y-axis we can take, or parallel to x-axis we can take. According to that, we will count the limit of the variable. If we are taking a strip parallel to x-axis, it means the limit of x will be calculated from the strip. Calculated from the strip means what? It is calculated from where the strip is started and where the strip is terminated with the help of the strip. The second variable will be counted on the coordinate axis. The second variable will be counted on the coordinate axis. Let us see it, how to find it. I will give you both the way of finding the limit. I am taking an elementary reason parallel to x-axis, or we can say elementary strip of the reason which is parallel to x-axis. Now let us see how to find the limits. Since we are taking a strip parallel to x-axis, students, so limit of x will be calculated from the strip. That is, a strip is started on this curve, we can see. So the limit of x will be started on this curve and terminated on this curve. So limit of x will be calculated on this curve. I think you know the name of this equation, which is passes through 0, 0 and 1, 1 is what? Y equal to x. The name of this curve is what? Y equal to x. And this curve, which is the vertical line, it is x equal to 1, because this distance we are having 1. Now x is started on this curve. What is the value of x on this curve? Y. Terminated on this curve. What is the value of x on this curve? 1. Once again, how I'm finding the limit? The strip is started on this y equal to x line. So what will be the value of x on this line? That is y. Terminated on x equal to 1. So the value of x is what? X equal to 1. So the limits, if I'm writing limits for the problem, if I'm taking a strip parallel to y x-axis, so will be x equals to y to x equal to 1. The limit of x is evaluated. The x-axis started from y and terminated at 1. Limit of x is done. Now we need to find limit of y, students. As I told you, limit of y will be counted on the coordinate axis. Sorry. Limit of y will be counted on the coordinate axis. So if you see the reason, what is the variation for y-axis in the reason? The variation of y-axis for the reason is how much? The reason, if you see, y-axis is moving from where to where? The variation of y-axis in the curve is like this much. This is the variation for y-axis. This is the variation of y-axis for the given curve. Means it started from the point O to the point 1, 0. This is the variation of y-axis. Means this is the variation. Total variation is this much. Now what is the value of y on this point? You can see from the point y is 0 and over here y equals to 1. So the limit of y will be what? Y equal to 0 to y equal to 1. Moreover, the order of the integral, the order of the integration will be what? The order of integration in this case will be dx dy. Because we are taking a strip parallel to x-axis, so first we should do integration for x. This is how we are finding the limit of integration if the strip is taken parallel to x-axis. Once again, I am repeating, we are having two choices. Either we can take a strip parallel to x-axis or parallel to y-axis. It's your choice totally. I am taking a strip parallel to x-axis. Now the limit of x will be counted from the coordinate, counted from the strip. Means where the strip is started, find the value of x from that curve, and where the strip is terminated, find the value of x from that curve. Another variable y will be counted on the coordinate axis. One thing you need to remember over here, when I am writing the limit for x-axis, it should be like this, and for y-axis, it should be like this. Means it's not we can say the limit of x in this question is 1 to y. No, that will not find. Means we have to move from negative to positive. This you should always remember. For limit, we need to move from negative to positive. For the same question, if I just turn the strip, means if I am drawing the reason once again, if I turn the strip, this the name of this curve is what? Y equals to x. This is x equals to 1. This point we are having 1 comma 1, and this is what? 1 comma 0, 0 comma 0. Now for the same question, I am turning the strip. I am taking the strip now parallel to y-axis. As I told you, it's totally your choice that for what axis you want to take the strip. Value of the integral does not affect it. In both the cases, you got the same answer. Now, the strip is taking a parallel to y-axis. It means the limit of y will be counted from the coordinate axis. It started from this line. It started from this line, which is y equal to 0. So the limit of y will be started from the curve y equal to 0 and terminated on the curve y equal to x. Since I am taking the strip parallel to y-axis, so I should find the limit of y firstly. It means the limit, if I am writing, the limit will be y equal to 0 to, what is the value of y on this curve? X. I am getting limit of y from 0 to y equal to x. On the same time, the second variable will be counted on coordinate axis, that is x. You can see the variation for x is from O to A. The variation for x-axis in the curve is O to A. What is the value of x on the point O? 0. What is the value of x on the point A? 1. So the limit of x will be what? X equal to 0 to x equal to 1. And moreover, the order of the integral in this case will be dy dx. So for the same question, we have two approaches. Sometimes it's easy to take a strip parallel to x-axis. Sometimes it's easy to take a strip parallel to y-axis. So totally it's your choice. If you want to take a strip parallel to x-axis, you can take parallel to x-axis. If you want to take parallel to y-axis, you can take parallel to y-axis. Now put the limits in the given integral, solve, we will get the answer of the problem. In both the cases, if I want to write the integral, how it will be look like? The integral, if I am writing first, when I am taking a strip parallel to x-axis, so the limit of x will be right first, that is x equal to y2, x equal to 1, and y equal to 0 to y equal to 1. Inside we are having f of xy into dx dy. And in this order, we should perform the integral, means firstly for x, then for y. Or this integral can also be written that I write another way of writing the limit. Another way is what? Firstly, I am putting the limit for y-axis. That is y equals to what? If you remember, y equal to 0 to y equal to x, and x equal to 0 to x equal to 1. Inside, f of x comma y into dy dx. Remember this thing, dy dx. And order of the integral will be firstly for y, then for x. So this is how, student, we understand that how to find the limit of an integral from a given region. Let us take one more example for more clarity. This time I am taking the integral. Integral is same, that is double integral over r function of x comma y dx dy. The same integral, but I'm taking this time region R is bounded by y is equals to x square and x is equals to y square. In the previous question, the points are given. Here, what I assume, in place of point, I assume the curve, that the curves are given and we need to find the region bounded by these two curves. Whatever reason we will obtain, that is the reason of the integral, and from where we need to find the limit of the given integral. I think you know these are the standard equation of parabolas. What are these equations? The standard equations of parabolas. And I hope you know how to draw a parabola. This parabola is on positive y-axis of the form x square is equal to 4ay. Here 4a equal to 1. This is a parabola on positive x-axis. That is of the form y square equals to 4ax. Let us draw the reason. So firstly, we have x-axis and y-axis, x-axis, y-axis. I'm drawing firstly x square equal to y, that is on positive y-axis. How to decide a parabola on which axis it is? The linear degree term is what axis? Like it is y-axis, it is y. So we will make this parabola on positive y-axis. So positive y-axis means like this. This is the parabola which lies on positive y-axis. What is the name of this? Y is equals to x square. Another, we are having x equal to y square. That is parabola on positive x-axis. So this is the positive x-axis. So if I draw it, it is look like somewhat like this. The name of this parabola is x equal to y square. Now, what is the reason of integration? You can see this intersection or this common reason is the reason of the integral for the problem. Means if I am talking, this is the required reason of the integral. Required reason of the integral. Now, reason is identify. What is the next thing, student? We need to take the elementary reason or elementary strip, either parallel to x-axis or parallel to y-axis. Before that, we know let this point is O and the below, just I am renaming the point, let this point is O and this point is A. So now we should know the what are the point of intersections. O point is 0, 0. What will be the A point? A is the intersection of the curve y equal to x square and x equal to y square. So by simply solving these two curves, we will get the point A. So if I solve it, means we are having y square equals to x and y is equal to x square. So simply I am putting the value of x is y square in this equation. So y is equals to what? Y to the power 4. Y can be taken common. 1 minus y cube equal to 0. So y equal to 0 and y equal to 1. There are two other complex roots. We are not taking those one. This is why put in this equation. So y equal to 0, it means x is also 0. Y equal to 1, it means x is also 1. The point I am getting 0, 0 and 1, 1. The point of intersection of these two parabolas are what? 0, 0 and 1, 1. 0, 0 over here. A is the point whose coordinate is 1, 1. Now let us start the same process. Suppose I am taking a strip parallel to x-axis like this. So the limit of x will be counted from the strips. From the strips, a strip is started on this curve and terminated on this curve. What is the value of x on the above curve? It is y square. And what is the value of x on the lower curve? It is root of y. From this one, I can write x equals to root of y. Na? So finally, the limits, if I am writing the limit from the curve, it is x equal to y square to x equals to root of y. Now the second coordinate, that is y-axis, will be counted on coordinate axis. So if I draw just a perpendicular like this is a perpendicular on y-axis. So the total variation, total variation of y-axis is what? O to B, if this point is B. Total variation for y-axis is O to B. What will be the coordinate of the point B, students? This is 1, 1. So on y-axis, the distance is 1. So this point will be what? 0, 1. Now, obviously, I think you get the limit. The y limit is what? 0 to 1. Limit of y will be 0 to y equal to 1. These are the limits if I am taking a strip parallel to y-axis. Moreover, what will be the order of integration? Since we are taking a strip parallel to x-axis, so it must be dx dy. So this is how, students, we are just getting the limit of the integration from the given region, and this is how we are getting the limits. I hope you understood the concept. Only the thing you need to keep in your mind is what? Whatever strip you are taken, whatever strip either parallel to x-axis or parallel to y-axis, that coordinate limit will be calculated from the strip, and another will be calculated from the coordinate axis. One more thing, if you see, if I rotate this strip from y equal to 0 to 1, the whole region will be covered. That's why we have just covered whole region by this purpose. Another one, if suppose that for the same question, I want to take a strip parallel to y-axis. So I'm going to draw the region once again. And let us see how to find the strip, how to find the limit if a strip is taken parallel to y-axis. So the name of this parabola is what? We are having y equal to x square, another on positive x-axis, like this much. This is the parabola x equal to y square. This is the point 1, 1. This is the point 0, 0. Now let us start once again. This time I am taking a strip parallel to y-axis. Strip means the elementary region inside the elementary region inside the region of integral. Y is started from this curve, terminated on this curve. We have to just focus on which curve it is started and which curve it is terminated. From those curves, we need to find that coordinate. So the value of y on the lower curve is how much? X square. And the value of y on the upper curve will be how much? Y is equals to root of x. So simple. I am getting the limit now. Limit of y will be x square to root of x. Now what about the limit of x? So for limit of x, I am just drawing a perpendicular from 1, 1 to x-axis like this. This point will be 1, 0. Now obviously you can see the variation on x-axis is what? This much, from the point O to a point A. The variation of x-axis for this curve is OA. That is, the limit of x will be 0 to 1. X equal to 0 to x equal to 1. Moreover, the order of the integral in this case will be what? Dy dx. So this is how, students, we can find the limit of integration from a given region. One more thing, or one another important thing we need to just keep in our mind, then we are rotating the strip. When we are rotating the strip inside the region, when we are rotating the strip inside the region, whether it is parallel to y-axis or parallel to x-axis, the starting curve and terminating curve of the region of the strip will not be changed. Once again, what I'm saying, when I'm rotating the curve, rotating the strip inside the region, starting and terminating curve will not be changed. Starting and terminating curve will not be changed. For example, if I am seeing just this parallel to y-axis strip, if I am rotating it from here to here up to within the region from wherever, it's always start from y equal to x square and terminate at x equal to y square. this is the necessary condition. If it is changed, then what happen? If they are changing, it means one strip is not sufficient to cover the whole region. What I am saying, if starting and terminating curve is changing, it means what? That one strip is not sufficient for finding the limits from the given region. In that case, at whatever point the starting or terminating curve is changing, another strip is required and we should take one more strip. I will take this kind of example also. Before that, I am taking one more question. Let us see what is another question. The question is same, double integral over R function of x comma y dx dy. And the reason is given, the R is the region bounded by the circle x square plus y square is equal to 1 and x is greater equal to 0, y is greater equal to 0. This time the reason is given like this, students. That is x square plus y square equal to 1 and these two curves. These two curves means what? The part of the circle which lies in the first quadrant. The part of the circle which lies in the first quadrant. Let us see it. So I am drawing the circle firstly. I think all of you know this is a circle whose center is 0 and radius is 1. So if I just draw the circle whose center is 1, whose center is 0 and radius is 1, it look like this. This point is what? 1 comma 0 because it is a radius points. Minus 1 0. This will be 0 comma 1 and this will be 0 comma minus. The name of the circle, x square plus y square equal to 1. But now you can see, students, it is also given that x is greater equal to 0 and y is greater equal to 0. This circle is having its part in all the quadrants, but we have to strictly take only in the first quadrant. So what will be the required region? Only the region which lies in the first quadrant, not second, third or fourth quadrant. If suppose that x is greater equal to 0 and y is greater equal to 0 is not given, it means what? We should take the whole circle. In that case or under that case, we should take the whole circle. But here we need to take only this shaded region that I just do the shaded, because x is greater equal to 0 and y is greater equal to 0 is given. Another thing, now what we should do the next? We have to take a step either parallel to x-axis like this or parallel to y-axis like this. It's totally your choice, as I told you earlier. I'm taking the strip parallel to y-axis firstly. No need to worry, I will take both the strips. I'm taking the elementary region parallel to y-axis like this much. It means the limit of y will be calculated from the coordinate axis. It started from here. So what will be the limit of y over here? 0, because the value of y on this curve is y equal to 0. Terminated on this curve. What is the value of y on this curve? Y is what? Root over 1 minus x square. It comes y equals to plus minus root over 1 minus x square. But since we are dealing in the first quadrant, students, so we have to take its positive value only. So y is equals to root of 1 minus x square. Finally, I am getting the limits. So the limits for this problem is what? Y equal to 0 to root over y 1 minus x square. Limit of y is 1. I hope you already get the limit of x for the reason. Variation is from O to A. At O, the value of x will be what? 0. At A, the value of A will be what? 1. So the limit of x will be x equal to 0 to x equal to 1. Moreover, the order, what will be the order of integration in this case? Dy dx. I hope you understood the concept. I just take the only 1/4 part of the circle, and why the order of integral is dy dx? Because the strip is taken parallel to y-axis. On the same time, students, suppose that I am taking a strip parallel to x-axis, then what will happen? So I am drawing it once again, only the 1/4 part of the circle, and this will be look like this. This is the elementary reason or elementary portion that I am taken. What is the equation? X square plus y square equal to 1. This is what? We are having 0, 0. This is what? We are having 0, 1. This is what? 1, 0. Let us see. Now we are taking a strip parallel to y-axis, x-axis, sorry. Here it is parallel to y-axis in the previous part. Now I'm taking parallel to x-axis. It means, I think you got the result before I should solve. You got the result, I hope. But still, let us see. It started on this curve. So what is the value of x on this curve? X equal to 0. Terminated on this curve. What is the value of x on this curve? Just find from the given equation. X will be what? Root of 1 minus y square. So the limit of x will be x equal to 0 to x equal to root of 1 minus y square. This is what the limit of integration I am getting, students. Another thing. It means what? This is the limit of x. So limit of x will be x equal to 0 to x equals to root of 1 minus y square. Moreover, the limit of y, I think you see variation of y is from the point O to the point A. At O, the value of y is 0 and the value of y is 1 at A. So the limit of y will be y equal to 0 to y equal to 1. Moreover, the order of the integral will be what? Dx dy. Now we can put the limit of the integration in the integral and got the required result. I hope you understood the concept that how we can find the limit of integration from a given reason. Suppose that in the same question, in place of the first quadrant only, the whole circle is given. Then what happen? Means what I'm saying that if the reason is the whole circle, the reason is what? The whole circle, not only in the first quadrant. It means I just take a circle, but not only in the first quadrant, but whole circle. This is the circle. Yeah, this is the circle. Its name is x square plus y square equal to 1. So this point is what? 1, 0. This point is what? Minus 1, 0. Now let us see. Now, if I take the strip parallel to y-axis, how the strip will look like? Remember, I should take throughout the given reason. I am taking the strip parallel to y-axis. Strip means what? String is nothing but an elementary reason. Lamina, it is also known as lamina. Elementary reason parallel to y-axis. Now it will be very interesting. Just see it. Limit of y is like this. Strip of y, sorry, parallel to y. It started on this curve. Its name is what? The same circle, x square plus y square equal to 1. Terminated over here, the same circle. So how I get the limit? Now I should solve it for y. If I am solving x square plus y square equal to 1, what I will get? Y square equals to 1 minus x square, and y will be what? Plus minus root over 1 minus x square. Now you can say, sir, in the previous when you are solving, why you are not taking plus minus? Because the students in the previous one, they are talking about only the first quadrant. First quadrant means what? Only x is positive and y is positive. If I am taking plus minus, it means one of them will be negative. But here there is no restriction like that. So I am getting two values of y. One is what? Negative, and another is what? Positive. So now where should I put negative? Where should I put positive? You can see this is the first quadrant. So the value of y over here must be positive. And this is the third quadrant, that is the negative y-axis. So the value of y will be negative on it, minus of 1 minus x square. So finally, just if you remember, I told you limit of y will be like this, bottom to top. So finally, the limit of y for this problem will be what? Y equals to minus of 1 minus x square to y equals to plus of 1 minus x square. Limit of y is done. Now limit of x. In the reason, you can see the variation of y will be a to b, not y, x. The variation of x from a to b, a to b. What is the value of x at the point a? Minus 1. What is the value of x at the point b? It is plus 1. So the limit of x will be what? Minus 1 to plus 1. And moreover, the order of the integral in this case will be dy dx. Means when we put the limit of integral, firstly we should do the integration with respect to y. Then we should do the integration with respect to x. I hope you understood the concept. In the same manner, if we are taking a strip parallel to x-axis, it will look like this. Look like this. In the same reason I am just explaining. So now you need to find the value of x over here. It will be plus minus root of 1 minus y square. It is negative x-axis, so take negative over here. Positive x-axis, take positive over here. And the value of y will be what? Minus 1 to plus 1. So this is how, students, we can find the limit of integration from a given region. I hope you understood the concept. If you are having any doubt, you can write it in the chat box. Another thing, the case number 2. If one strip is not sufficient for finding the limits of integration, that case I will discuss in the second part of the lecture. Okay, students. So that's all from my side for this lecture. I hope you understood the concept. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.